belt hanging on the Kubota mower is the fan belt, and it's kind of weird because it wasn't too old. I don't see anything that should have knocked it off. Hopefully it wasn't run for too long, because without it the alternator doesn't charge and the water pump doesn't turn, so you could have a dead battery and a cooked motor. Kind of weird. Guess I'll order one and see what happens. I don't know how long the fan belt was off of that mower. Could have started the process sooner if I had known. There's a place to leave me a note, but there's almost never any notes. I'm not here every day, but every day I'm here, I check the board. Well, we got a new belt. It's fairly straightforward how it goes on. I mean, there's only 3 pulleys. It tensions off of the alternator just by sliding it out and creating your tension that way, like a traditional V-belt. The tricky part, however, is getting it around the pulley off of the crankshaft down there, because you have the drive shaft coming off of it going to the hydraulic pump, and it's 3 bolts that hold it there. But I think it's going to be easier to undo the coupler here and slide it back, because the shaft does telescope, and none of it's easy to get to. But I think undoing those 2 bolts down there for the coupler is going to be easier. We'll see. Well, that was wrong. There is not enough travel in the telescoping part of that shaft. It doesn't want to focus right there. Right there. Not enough travel for it to clear the stub shaft here. So that was kind of a waste of time, and then it means I got to get to those harder to get 2 bolts, and it's going to be really hard to line that back up to get it back on. Bummer. All right, we got the coupler off down there. Got the pulley, the belt draped, threaded over the fan and just draped around. We do not have it on the alternator pulley yet, because we want plenty of slack just so that it's not in our way down here. Or do we? I mean, I guess we could just put it all on there. That shouldn't matter. Yeah, maybe I'll do that and get it out of the way. So we'll slip it on the alternator pulley over here. Yeah, well, it'll slip around, and yeah, but at least that way the belt's not hanging down in my way. Because what I really dread is trying to get the bolts to line back up at the end of that coupler. I mean, nothing's moved in terms of the motor hasn't turned, the pump hasn't turned. They should still all be there, but because it's at the end of a U-joint, it's just gonna want to try to flop around, and you really can't get too many hands on it in there. So somehow it'll happen. Belt is on all of the pulleys, the alternator, the fan and water pump. Down there, the crankshaft that you can't see. I still haven't hooked up the coupler yet. To tension it, the alternator is on the slide. So you find something sturdy like that boss back there to pry against, and that's how you put tension in it. So you got to hold it with one hand and tighten up that bolt to hold it in place, and then also the other mount bolt down here you want to snug up, because you've got to loosen this in order for the alternator to pivot, and obviously the top one clamps it in that slide.